All right, guys, welcome back to the 2011. Just kidding. Anyhow, but seriously, we got microphones. Thanks to our sponsor, Mike Smith, for $200. Thank you, Mike. I'm not joking, bro. Anyhow, we have a amazing guest on today. Our good, amazing friend, son, brother, Ryan. I'll introduce him in a second. And my son, Roberto, over there. Um, so these cool mics are a little bit easier to use. So we're happy for that. Anyhow, always trying to be humble and transparent and authentic. We were just talking about this morning how uh, people are a lot of fraud and fakes and um, unauthentic in society, and that's everywhere: workplace, home, school, college, careers, everywhere you think of. People are pretty much putting their best foot forward or being untransparent. And so we shoot and strive to be kind of whatever topic we're talking about. I basically I just asked Ryan just to be like transparent and authentic. Don't try to be something he's not. And whatever questions I ask, don't be too you know, fake, I guess is the word for. He's a 16-year-old young man, my son too. So they have to deal with this culture and all these people out here that are putting their best foot forward in high school. I mean, that's what high school's about. You know, the cool glasses, and if you have the cool shoes, you're somewhat important, right? And all the lame stuff. But we all know, as hopefully adults, that it's fake. But most adults are trying to pretend some they're not as well. So it's a really complex world we live in, and the more you know, and the more you're informed of how it works. Uh, Blessed life you get to live, such as us. Anyhow, airplanes going by. So this is Ryan. I'm just gonna ask him to say a few things about himself, and then Roberto, you could say what's going on.
I'm Ryan, and I actually got into the Lord through my dad here, my coach.
That's perfect.
My bad, sorry.
Very good.
And this is my brother here, and I grew up, like a pretty tough situation. Like I was in group homes my whole life, and I was always a believer. I just didn't truly believe until I was 13 and I met these two. So yeah, and like he was saying, like a lot of people try to hide their true identity with Jordans, glasses, shirts, and stuff, and they don't try to be themselves to fit in with people. But just be yourself and pull all the girls for real. So, through the Lord, obviously. But
There we go.
that's
And Rob, you want to say anything?
Um,
Just hi, whatever.
Hello, my name is Robert. I'm 15, not 16.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Yeah, and we're pretty much just brothers. That's pretty much it.
All right.
all right.
So today we're going to talk a little bit about basically fatherhood and what fatherhood is, and we didn't really deem the topic. As always, we're trying to be as transparent and open and just kind of wherever it takes us, right? But this morning we were talking, and I've been reading I'm reading this book, and it did a study about how adversity makes you better. And they followed these 698 kids from like 1955 in the state of Hawaii. It wasn't a state back then, but anyhow, um, the Hawaii was these people, these ladies, the psychologists, and they wanted to follow kids and see like how they work their life out, right? And so they followed them for like 4 decades or something, and they came up with basically the research was that the ones that were more affluent, the ones that had the easier life, the ones that had more of a kind of common life, average life, were the ones who didn't do as well, which is very interesting because that's what I believe. I believe the Bible teaches that. Adversity makes you better, it makes you a stronger person if you're willing to accept the challenge. If you're not willing to accept the challenge of adversity, life is going to be very hard, period. And when life gives you difficulties and it throws you, lemons, you better make lemonade. When it gives you the blues, you better be making blueberry juice. Because if you don't understand some of those things, what's going to happen is you're very uninformed of how the world works, and you'll think that you're cursed. You'll think that you somehow life didn't work out for you. It wasn't planned accordingly. God, wants nothing to do with you, kind of like bah humbug, right? And with Ryan, he has not had an easy life at all. I think he's been in the foster government system for since he was 4 years old,
Five.
5 years old, somewhere around there. And God brought Ryan into our lives about 3 years ago as a football coach. And I remember just seeing Ryan. He was just this little bulldog of a guy. And I think he was an incredible human being. And Robert really liked him. And I think because he was so tenacious, like Ryan was going to eat you up and chew you out on the football field. And so I remember like this kid, and Robert's like that too, just not as like, he's more passive about it. But I remember seeing like when they wanted to go tackle drills, no one wanted to go with Ryan, and Robert. Robert was the only one who would actually like would malt, would go with them. And there were some other kids that would, maybe like 3 or 4 on the whole entire team, like 22 kids. Not a lot of people had this intensity, and I think a lot of it's from adversity, um, and me coaching up Robert as a dad. I'm coaching him in adversity, and Ryan has had some blessed people. Right now, his group home leader Phil is an incredible human being who teaches him the Word of God, and he's had some blessed things, but that's from the Lord. Like, that's all God. And so I'm going to ask Ryan a few things just about like what's it like just to be like in the foster care system. I'm not getting too crazy deep, but I mean, it's if anyone's struggling out there where you don't have a dad or a single mom, I mean, there's always someone worse, to be totally honest with you. And there's always someone that doesn't have the opportunity. And so our life, I feel like one of my missions, and my wife's too, is basically to encourage Ryan and kind of get him the tools in his toolbox to keep going athletically and spiritually and mentally, and fish. What do you say? What do you say?
Fishery.
And fishery. He's a fisherman. You can follow him on what?
Big wheel fishing.
Big wheel fishing, and he's actually had crazy stories. He's had. Didn't you have a thing that had like 1 million views?
Yeah, one of my videos has 1 million views. Yeah, and then I couldn't get into my old channels, so now I have to make a new one.
And he couldn't get into his old channels because he was what they called disrupted in a home. So he was in a home for how long? A year?
2 years.
Oh no, he was in a foster parent for 2 years. And we were just friends coming over, and then he would we lived about 4 minutes from there, and there was a disruption in the home where Ryan basically ran away. And I don't blame him. Unfortunately, the situation was dire at some point, and so God moved him out, and then he went to a group home back just a couple months ago, about maybe a month.
We used to live in
yeah. But Ryan had a crazy amount of views, and people used to like his fishing stuff, and it's crazy because like, wow. And now Ryan's start all over again, actually using my phone and my stuff because he doesn't have a phone. He doesn't have a computer. Yeah. And he doesn't make any excuses. Today we're actually here. We're going to do a workout and, after this podcast. And I realized how many people, we don't have all the coolest things. I see people training here. We don't have all the biggest hurdles and stuff. But I teach Robert and Ryan. There's no excuses, man. Like, this is just life. If you want to do something, you can cry and you can, complain all you like, but the reality of it is there's really no one there to help you, almost even your parents. Sooner or later, people have to man up and say, okay, this is what I feel like God is calling me to do, and you have to do that with your entire mind. And to be honest with you, I think it makes it easier when you know that you're going after it. But anyways, I was proud of Ryan because he started a whole new YouTube channel. So if you see some of his things, maybe he'll link it up sooner or later. We'll try to figure out a way to log him back in and get his old account. But he doesn't have a phone. He has nothing. So he started a new one, and I think he's got like 3 followers. But no, he had some really cool stuff going on, and that was just the tenacity of Ryan. But tell us what it was like, really. I mean, just give us some things to think about, man. Like,
so like we said, I was in the foster care since I was 5. I've been in it today, and I'm 16 now, and it definitely gives you like you get stronger, and it messes you up mentally because like I've been to so many group homes, and it's like I'll get there, I'll do good, and then kids would start bothering me, and I had a really bad temper, so I'd get in, all it did was just fight people, and once again I said I turned Christian when I was 13, or like fully, and I stopped doing that stuff, but and like people would steal my stuff, like I would have dreams and stuff, like and it just kind of messes you up, like then you like. I'm a pretty strong person, I feel like, and if I go to sleep, I don't know if I'm gonna wake up and all my money's gonna be gone or my shoes are gonna be gone. Kids AWOL with my stuff, some kid even took my mom's pictures, which was like the weirdest thing ever. So but it definitely makes you stronger because like if I felt like if God didn't put me through that stuff, I would be kind of soft. You know what I mean? And like I'd be like, oh, like it's fine. Like they were just messing around, but it changes you, and it in a better way, and it could be a bad way because it's like I can't even really go to sleep like at nighttime because I don't know if I'm gonna wake up and my stuff's gonna be gone or if I'm gonna move to another group home because they've woken me up at like 12 one time or 3 in the morning. They're like, hey, you're going to a new group home, and this is when I just got to another group home, and they would do it all the time. And it's I feel like certain people are like I feel like it's not good to change. Like change isn't good for people, but I've gotten so numb to it. It's like they're like a lot of people ask me like when I leave the group home, they're like, "Are you good?" When I go to the next one, I'm like, "Yeah, it's fine." And I like don't get to see my friends and stuff anymore. But it also has like a positive side. So, like I said, I'm strong now. Like physically, mentally, I'm still a little messed up, but it just makes you. I feel like it makes you tough on the outside for sure.
uh, my son Robert, like he knows about this, and I'm gonna ask him a question first before I get back to Ryan. But like Robert, what do I always say about change? Just kind of what Ryan has been through in terms of change. What what you should hopefully you know the answers, but what do you think about what he was saying about you got to go to the next group home and you got to go to the next group home
Life
and
changes.
yeah,
Always
well,
gonna change.
yeah,
It's always gonna change.
that's right.
What is that? It?
Well, what else? I don't know. What are you thinking? Like, what do you what's my big like you know to raise you as a godly man, as a man, like what's life gonna
Be
throw at
comfortable
you?
with change.
Yeah,
Because
be
life
comfortable.
sucks.
Yeah, life. There you go. Life
That was
sucks,
good.
man. And it's funny because Ryan doesn't make any excuses, and you know he doesn't see it as normal. But there are parents out there that will soften their kids so much because they don't want to take their kids out of a school, or they don't want to move until this and that, and they suffer actually more because what's going to happen is those kids are going to become so um, less durable in the world because the only guarantee of life is change. And so Ryan, obviously, he's going through it as in a different state. But see, I don't feel bad for Ryan. I don't feel bad for anybody. There's multiple reasons for my own story, life story, um, whatever. I've been through enough in my life where I don't feel I almost can feel bad for somebody. When I look at life and when I look at what it's done both to me and the world, it's a fallen state. See, I'm informed of how and why men are in a detrimental state. It's because of sin, and at the fall of in the garden, it fell. Everything's broken. Family's broken. Men can't stay around and raise a godly man. Women can't do certain things that on their own when they're of a single mother or of a single father. Like life is broken, right? Now you have to work to make money, but the reality of it was God created it perfect, and we fell from that, and so now life can never be perfect. The only thing that is guaranteed is that life isn't perfect. And so I coach my son in that. I teach my daughter in that. So we've moved quite a few times. We've had some serious changes, uh, like going to school. In fact, I wouldn't doubt if Robert has been in just as many schools as this guy. Maybe not as many, but like my daughter has actually brought that up. Like, Dad, one of the things that I've learned is I've had to go to different schools. So next year they go to somewhere else because I've moved a lot and, with jobs and work and trusting the Lord. And so, like I said, I don't necessarily, uh, wrap my head around why we're trying to keep all our kids or anyone safe for that run. There's nothing safe about life. And I think that's one of the things I want to encourage Ryan and Robert. Like, there's really no guarantees. The best that we can do is opt for love and to keep ministering and loving and supporting these young men. But with Ryan, I feel like some of that is like he said it, there's a positive. And if he accepts that route that God said, okay, it fell. It wasn't that God that did that to him. It was life that did that to him. And that's what you people have to understand. Life is brutal. God is amazing. God is good. He's always there. He's always with. In fact, I don't know, maybe tell us something, Ryan, about how you always knew God was with you. Because I've always felt God was with you since I met you. Like he had a different joy, a different, I would have never guessed the kid was in a group home until I started seeing, the vans pull up and stuff. And then he missed a couple practices and I would like ask why. And he would say that the group home guys couldn't take them, and that's when we started kind of taking them and stuff. But like, I was intrigued, and then Robert too. We loved Ryan. Like from the day, man, I'm like, this guy is like happy, funny, blah blah. But yet he doesn't have all the coolest gear. Like we had kids on the football team that had the best gear that you could think of. I mean, they had the $1,000 helmets and the lenses and the football cleats that were signed by some famous guy or something, and they hated football. Their parents were trying to drag them in. They dragged their feet. They're never gonna play you know at a high level, and it's almost like a waste of time. With these guys, they're after it. Like they're different beasts. They're like have a mission, and maybe it's the preaching and teaching of God's word. But I think that it's also adversity. That life is not easy. But Ryan, share with us like some honestly how you think that God has been with you throughout your life, or when you first kind of were aware of Him, or whatever.
Absolutely. So I would say, like I said, like I feel like I've truly turned Christian when I was 13 because that's when I met you guys, and like I didn't even know what sin was at the time, and then like no, it was funny because after they told me specifically lust that's the sin they told me because I was with a girl and you know
Ryan was playing baseball with ladies, if you know what I'm talking about.
no, but it was just after he had told me that I had
Hold on, let me do this real quick. Can I tell him a funny story? I'll tell a funny story.
You're
Real quick.
good, you're good. Yeah.
So Robert and I were hanging out with Ryan one day, and Ryan had a like a
Hickey.
like I don't want to say hickey.
I'm sorry.
He had like a blue mark, or like right here, like in the neck, and it was it looked like a hickey, but I didn't want to say anything to it. But I said, "Hey Ryan, how'd you get that?" And he felt nervous. He goes, "Oh yeah, I was playing baseball with my friend, and my friend threw his baseball." And I'm thinking like, that's a lie. But it was
baseball for like 10 years, and that never happened to you.
I know, right? I'm like, okay, that's so we have an ongoing joke whenever he's checking out a chick or looking like, hey, no more baseball. But it was just funny because he kept that up, and I never really let him know that I knew about that. I would just be like, hey, careful with baseball, don't let the baseball hit you in the neck.
Didn't he say it was a golf ball another time?
I don't know.
Yeah,
you said
It was
a golf
funny.
ball.
But anyway, back to reality. Tell us, please, about like some of the things that God started doing. You said first convict you of sin, and that's important.
Yeah.
First convicting you of sin, and then go.
No, I was just gonna say like the day he had told me because we were talking about it and we were talking about God and stuff. Like I always knew God was God. Like I always knew there was a God. But like once again, like you don't really pay attention. I feel like when you're younger, I feel like you do. But like unless if you grew up like in a normal, go to church every Sunday and like stuff like that, or not every Sunday, but like you knew, you know what I mean? I didn't really know when I was younger. No one really told me anything. But yeah, like there was a day you guys had told me like sin and stuff like that because I was telling you stuff, and the next day I felt like really guilty because I had sinned again, and I was like, what is this feeling? Like I've never felt this before.
It's good.
So I like God started like coming more and more into my life, and then I would do stuff and I would feel guilty about it, which is the Lord inside of me telling me like, bro, that's not good. But it was just I started feeling Him when I started doing stuff, like when I started like when I fought somebody, it was just guilt. Like, it was the guilt, but it was just like the Lord. He was telling me like I just know He was there. He was always there when I was like when I fought somebody, I like even if I didn't like the guy, I like felt bad that I did that to that guy or like that I even like had to go that far because the Lord says to be gentle and to be kind and all the other positive things, but I yeah, He just changed me. Like, you know what I mean? They guys didn't. Like these two, they've been with me so long, but like a year before I met them, I was still fighting people. Like I was just beating up people because I was so angry of what happened, and I couldn't accept the fact that the Lord does everything for a reason, and I couldn't accept the fact that my parents they're just scumbags. Like I'm not even trying to be not trying to be mean or anything, but once again it's worldly. The Lord didn't do that. You know what I mean? It was the world, and when I finally accepted the fact that I can make this negative a positive through the Lord, then I was like, I'm where I am now. I met these people. God put these people in my life. Coach Robert, my brother, my dad and stuff. These two, and yeah. So.
Just to kind of, I guess, jump on a topic real quick. So Ryan had said like his parents were kind of obviously having a hard time with life and not understanding how it works. And I remember with Ryan. Remember when he first came into our lives? I was talking with him, and we spent a lot of time with him. He would come to our house, and I was his coach, and I've always just wanted to make sure he was taken care of. And so like I said, Ryan, like what did you end up? Why are you in a group home? And he was telling me like how his parents kind of shipped him away or something because he was an angry kid and he was so bad and all this stuff. And I even tell Robert, I said that's
that bad at that age. No kid's that bad at that age.
I agree. That was just how Robert said. No kid is that bad at that age. That's a lie. That's a complete lie. His parents are scumbags, and I sorry for that saying that,
No,
but I'm
it's all
just
good,
saying
it's all good.
like I'm like that's not humanly possible that your 4-year-old or 3-year-old will be such a bad kid. I said they're bad. They couldn't understand how life works by either spanking him, taking control, getting the help they need, reading a book, whatever, educating themselves, getting out of drugs or alcohol, getting out of prison, like those things. So what they did is they literally the system had brainwashed Ryan and told him that he's this angry guy. And it's funny because like I was an angry person and I had a dad and a mom. My dad did exasperate me a little bit to wrath in certain terms, and I was frustrated with all the cousins and brothers. And growing up in high school, I was very misdirected. But there was no way that Ryan was just a bad kid to ship him away at 4 years old. It was, and they brainwashed him to say that, and he would literally say, "Oh, I'm really angry with coach, and that's why." Because it's funny, and like as the Bible talks about a curse, they cursed that last the third and fourth generation, and that would have been the curse. Ryan would have been an angry beast, an angry man, drugs and alcohol, jail. But at 13 years old, God rescued him, and Ryan is no longer that person. I've never even seen Ryan mad, to be totally honest with you. He's been frustrated on the football team, but he takes it out in a very controlled manner, or he's learning to. And we've had a couple, incidences on a football field, and to be totally honest with you, to me, that's very healthy and normal. It really is. When people are trying to come against you in football or attack you, that is a very normal way to get your energy out and some of your frustration out, especially if the other team is talking smack and doing inappropriate things. Um, Not to say that that's it's always acceptable. I'm just saying self control is an amazing, incredible thing, but sometimes people are you need to control them. And so I've Ryan has been such a joy and such a life giver to our family and to schools and other people around him. Like all of the caretakers and the uh, state, what do you call them, the state staff?
Yeah, it was group home.
The group home, yeah, but what do you call it,
DCS,
Jordan?
DCS.
All the
Yeah,
DCS members and the team. They have an incredible team that I've been working with to just have meetings with and talk, and these caseworkers and stuff. They all really care right now. They didn't always care. I met some that are just dipped on me and no phone calls, or they didn't give me the right numbers or whatever, and they're checked out. But these guys are pretty good at what they do, and Phil's one, he's a great one and stuff, but they really like stay in tune with Ryan, and God's blessing Ryan. And there's no anger management. There is none of that crap. It's not the pills. It really is. It's the Lord. God is doing incredible work with Robert and Ryan, and He's growing them up to be discipled in the Lord. And I personally, now that I know, I rather have a dad that cares and loves me and mentors me and disciples me than a rich father, than someone who gives me the coolest clothes and coolest cars. Now that I know what life is about, that I can call and talk to and be ministered to as a leader in the Lord. And that's what we're giving these two young gentlemen. We're teaching them how to be men. We're teaching them how to be like kind of next level guys. We just watched Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant, yeah.
Kevin Durant's kind of biography, I guess, or his mom's story about how she raised him. And there was a cool scene in there where she was a single mother of faith, and she had, kind of was poor, down and out, barely getting her stuff together. It was tough. But when Kevin Durant finally made it, the brother who she raised two successful young men and character godly men. And it was funny because they were in this meeting of like a sponsorship, and they wanted to paint Kevin Durant like a hip hop kind of like, rapper type guy. And she was so adamantly upset against it that this isn't who they were. They weren't these rapper, thug, hip hop guys. And the girl was trying to reach the culture, the marketing person, And she was like, no, we're not doing this. Like, they've never been in trouble. Like, they've never been in trouble with the law. They're good kids. They have character, integrity. And that's the thing. Like, that's what manhood is. And that's what we're trying to raise, a generation, because we see, a generation where hip hop, coolness, all that crap is such a freaking lie. And they live in high school for 4 years, but they don't realize that they got to live another 60, 70, 80 years after that. High school literally is this weird thing that's kind of a lie, because it tells in 4 years that you're going to make or break something, or you better be special, and they go to college. It's really a lie, and people don't understand the scam of high school. And for my kids, I want them to just do better and be better as just athletes, but as human beings, and what God intended for them. And Ryan and Robert, they're both accepting it. They're both accepting the charge, I guess. Like, and I'm not striving to do it. I'm not forcing the hand. If they want to go do them. I was a youth pastor, and I worked in high schools. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. And this is what gives me so much pleasure, is literally we're gonna actually run some routes and have some fun today. It's just a joy. And that's what I'm trying to preach and teach, is that you can have joy living life. You don't have to, like, go to local high school and hate every bit of your life, and then get with all the chicks you can handle, and go to all the parties that you can do, and drum up and become a loser, but maybe be an athlete or something to get the fame. It's all dumb. I don't accept any of that as a reality. I want to raise good character men to do what God has called them to do. And if I can do that, I'm successful. And with Ryan, I feel like he's doing really well at 16 years old. I mean, we've known him for 3 years, but I'm just happy. I'm super happy that both these guys are where they're at in life. And they haven't, um, kind of rebelled yet, right? And if they do, we'll walk them through it. But I feel like that's a very important few years right now, formal years. They're making good decisions for later. Ron, anything else you want to share?
No, I just like what you were saying. Like, these guys changed my life. So if I honestly, I really think if I didn't meet them, I probably would have been in jail or
Jamal?
yeah, or like just doing stupid stuff.
All right. Robert, anything you want to share?
No, I like it. It was good.
It was good?
Yeah.
It was good. It was good. It's good.
All right. So we're going to be closing up here. Thank you for hanging out with us again. We've got microphones now.
Yeah.
So we plan to get more. And Ryan will probably come on with a fish or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I got
We'll
you.
get different ideas.
You just see me run over here with a catfish. I'm like, hey,
Right.
guys, look, he's a butt.
We're just trying to keep it to 20 to 30 minute podcasts of encouragement, of wisdom, understanding, being transparent, authentic for, anything, business, groups, wisdom, family men, sons, life, relationships, girlfriends and boyfriends, like my daughters and her boyfriend a couple weeks ago. But we're going to get those out to you. And then we may try other things later, but right now we're just locking these in. And if I ever come on with it by myself, it'll just be like a 10-minute, 15-minute short, I guess. All right, guys, thank you, and have a great day.
Have a good day, guys.
Where's my little remote?
Turn it off.